right? I'll tell it again. Here, what you need to do is you need to come from general to specific. You need to come from general to specific. එන්න general ඉඳලා specific, right? මගේ වාක්‍ය මම කියන්නම්, right? The thing which I use, the sentence which I used, is I like to eat pizzas which consists of a thin layer of cluster of bread, upon which you'll be able to find a thick layer of sauce as well as sausage slices. එතකොට මම එතන කරලා තියෙන්නේ මම කරලා තියෙන්නේ තනිකරම මොකද කරලා තියෙන්නේ general to specific කැවිලා. මම general ඉඳලා specific කැවිලා. ඔන්න ඕක තමයි කරන්න ඕනේ. writing වලට අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම දෙන්න ඕන concept එක තමයි ඔය. ඔතනින් එහා දෙයක් කරන්න යන්න එපා ඔයා. right? ඔතනින් එහා කිසිම දෙයක් ඔයාලා කරන්න යන්න එපා. හරිද? ඒ වගේම what you need to do is you need to paraphrase. Right? Paraphrase. You need to paraphrase everything. All right? You need to paraphrase. There are 8 concepts of paraphrasing. Concepts තියෙනවා 8ක් අපි දැනගත යුතු paraphrase කර. Styles තියෙන concepts 8ක් තියෙනවා. හරිද? ඔන්න ඕක තමයි අපි බලා දැනගෙන ඉන්නේ. Stay on the topic. Stay on the topic. You need to stay on the topic. You cannot go beyond your topic. Right? What they are expecting is you need to show that you have a smooth flow of your sentences. Sentences වල smooth flow එකක් තියෙනවා. Smooth flow එකක් කියනවා. Mistake free sentences වෙන්න. Right? You cannot give sentences with mistakes. Or mistakes එක තියෙන sentences දෙන්න බෑ. හරිද? ඊට පස්සේ ඔයාට sentence varieties තියෙනවා. Right? Sentence varieties ගැන කතා කරොත් හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න sentence variety එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ. හරිද? අපි දන්නවා complex sentence, compound sentence, simple sentence, compound complex sentences. ඔන්න ඔයක ටික ඔයා එකින් එක අරගෙන යන්න. හරිද? ඒ වගේම what you need to do is you need to have an ability to extend the answers. ඔයා answers extend කරගන්න. You cannot just say something and you cannot be free. හරිද? You need to extend the answer. There are several ways to extend the answers, which we'll show in this video. What you need to do is you need to extend answers. Already I gave you a way. That is, you need to use paraphrasing techniques to extend the answer, right? And this is the next case where you will have 4 types of types which you are using for extending answers. Watch this.
How can you extend your answer? Now what we're getting into now is really the key to your doing a great job on part number 1. How do you extend your answer? Well, you can compare. I used to drive in Accra, but now I prefer public transportation because. Next, you can contrast details to extend. Yes, I do research on the internet. However, my favorite method is through books. So, give reasons why. I prefer dry weather as opposed to wet and humid because I have breathing challenges that require. Finally, you can combine and add details. Yes, I enjoy street food enormously because it's cheap. In addition to this, and then you finish it off. Extend your answers, everybody. That's what I want you to do. When you are speaking in part number 1, extend the answer. Answer, extend, stop. Answer, extend, stop. Now, we're going to move on to what I said earlier was really, really important. Speaking from general to specific. To make sure you understand this, I'm going to give you 4 good examples of what I mean by speaking general to specific. I need you to do this in part number 1, please. Example 1. What foods do you like the most? Pizza is my favorite food of all time. That's a general statement, right? Now, extend it with something specific. Not only do I love the cheese, but also the thick crusted bread, rich tomato sauce, Italian pepperoni, and an array of locally grown vegetables. Specific. Go from general to specific. Next example. Where would you like to live? I hope to relocate to New Zealand for future veterinary studies. If I can arrange the visa and employment after completing my degree, I will work in the hiking profession where I will have a peaceful and enjoyable life in the mountains, away from the crowds and the pollution. General to specific. Example 3. Do you like to watch television? First, we have the general statement. Answer the question. Every blue moon, I might check out what's on TV. That's a general statement, general answer. Then get specific. Currently, the NBA is having its regular season, and if the Lakers are on, I might watch a couple of quarters if the game is interesting. Specific. And finally, example number 4. What do you dislike about your job? The element that causes me the most frustration are the working hours. Take last Tuesday, for example, where the boss insisted that the entire team extend the workday until 6 p.m., which caused me to miss my son's piano recital. General to specific. This is a really, really important concept, everybody. And when you're answering in part number 1, if you want to do well, this is what you have to do. Be able to go from general to specific. You'll notice that I was also paraphrasing the question as well. Now we're going to move into more about really paraphrasing the question. Here, I'm just really focusing on paraphrasing the question. I'm not going to extend the answer. I'm just really trying to show you how you go about paraphrasing the question. So first, do you work or are you a student? I used to be employed, but now I'm learning the fine art of architecture. Did you ever live in the countryside? I've never resided in a rural area, but I wouldn't say I'm ignorant of the lifestyle there. What do you like or dislike about this place? I can come up with a few pros and cons associated with my current housing situation. So let's look at these 3. Work, employed. Learning, student. Used to be, really good fluency tool to be able to give a nice extended answer. Rural area, countryside. Resided, live. Lifestyles related to countryside and living also. Come up with. Using these kind of phrases is really great. The phrases like come up with are the kind of phrases, idiomatic language that they really, really like a lot. Pros and cons, like or dislike, housing situation, and place. That's what we call the art of paraphrasing the question. Some of you may be saying, well, this is really difficult. How can I do that? It comes with practice. It's a skill. You have to really, really work on being able to do it, and it happens through practice. Do you consider yourself a patient person? Being a fairly even-tempered practitioner of meditation, I'd answer affirmatively that I can tolerate delays. Do you prefer to be busy all the time or not? I'm sorry, but I wouldn't select a lifestyle that required me to be constantly occupied or absorbed around the clock. Do you like to dye your hair? Certainly.
Right.
Coloring my
මෙයා දැන් ඔයාලට කිව්වේ answers extend කරගන්න විදිය. ඔයාලට answers extend කරගන්න වෙනවා මොකද අපේ vocabulary එකක් අපෙන් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා මෙයා. හරිද? compare කරන එක. right? compare කරා. මොකක් හරි දෙයක් එක ඔයාලා compare කරන්න. used to, similarly, likewise, similar to, like අය විදිහට comparison. හරිද? I used to travel by my bike, but now I prefer public transportation systems because of the high demand and high price of the fuel. Either contrasting details, comparison kara. Compare කරලා කියන්නේ ඔයාට මෙන්න මේ දේ නිසා මේ දේ කරන්න කැමති නෑ. Contrasting ideas. But however, I do like to use a laptop, however, because of the high price of electricity, I do not prefer it. Everything they must give reason why. Reason එකක් දෙන්න. ඇයි ඔයා මෙහෙම කරන්නේ? ඇයි මේකට කරන්න හේතුව? Reason එකක් දෙන්න. I do prefer to go abroad because what is happening currently in Sri Lanka is not pretty much good. ඒ විදිහට reason එකක් දෙන්න. ඔහොම reason එකක් දීලා ඔය විදිහට contrasting details දීලා comparison කරන්න. අපිට answer එක extend කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ විදිහටම paraphrasing concept එක. paraphrasing concept එක. හොඳම concept එකක් paraphrasing කියන concept. මොකද paraphrasing කියන concept එකේදී ඔයාලා නොදැනුවත්වම ඔයාලා වචන භාවිතා. හරිද? බලන්නකෝ. Do you work or are you a student? Do you work or are you a student? I used to be employed. I work කියන වචනේ extend වෙලා. හරිද? But now I'm learning. Student කියන එක extend කරනවා. හරිද? ඔන්න ඕකයි paraphrasing techniques පාවිච්චි කරන්න කියලා කියනවා. හරිද? ඒ වගේම what I prefer you to do is either and either. You can use idiomatic language. Either and either. Here and there. In simple. Here and there. හැම තැනම නම් පාවිච්චි කරන්න එපා. හැම තැනම පාවිච්චි කරොත් නම් ලෝක ප්‍රශ්නයක්. right? ලෝක ප්‍රශ්නයක් කරනවා. උදාහරණයක් විදිහට දැන් මම මේ කියන sentence එක පොඩ්ඩක් අහන් ඉන්නකෝ. I do not like the pros and cons of the company, yet I do not hit the Achilles heel of the employees. ඕක කිව්වොත් තේරෙනවා. It's pretty much difficult because you have used two idioms near each other. Right? As idioms දෙකක්ම එක තැන භාවිතා කරනවා. එක ළඟ. Right? එක ළඟ idioms දෙකක්. So we have a very big problem. Using two idioms at the same time. Right? So never do it. What you need to do is, if you use an idiom in one place, right? Use the next idiom after 2 or 3 sentences. Sentences දෙකක් හෝ තුනකට පස්සෙන් එක ඊළඟ එක දෙන්න. ආයි මුලට ගේන්න එපා. හරිද? අර දීපු තැනට මේ දේ ගෙනල්ලා තියන්න එපා. මොකද ඒක අහනකොට ප්‍රශ්නයක්. අහන් ඉන්න කෙනාට ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඒක. එක අහගෙන කෙනාට අතෙන් ප්‍රශ්න. ඒ තේරෙන්නේ නැහැනේ පළවෙනි පාර. බලපු ගමන් ඕක තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඕක ප්‍රශ්නයක්. ඕක මතක තියාගන්න. හරිද? ඔය දේ අනිවාර්යෙන් මතක තියාගන්න. ඔය කිව්වේ ටාස්ක් 1 එක පිළිබඳ ඔය අපි කතා කරා. හරිද? මම දැන් එන්නේ ටාස්ක් 2 එකට. right? ටාස්ක් 2 එක ගැන කතා කරනකොට most important part is taking notes. මේක දැක්කා ඉන්නවා but මේක ආයි බලන්න මොකද this is the most dangerous place. මේක තමයි ටිකක් අමාරු තැන. Because you need to understand that your whole short presentation is depending on what you are writing. On the note which is you are going to take. You need to understand that writing everything, right? Writing a lengthy sentence would not help you at all. Because the problem is you have only 1 minute preparation time. Writing a lengthy sentence will not help you. ඔයාලා වරද්ද ගන්න පළවෙනි දන්න තමයි ගත්ත ගමන් ලියාගෙන යනවා lengthy sentences ලියන. ඔන්න lengthy sentences ලියන එක try කරන එකම ඔයාලව අමාරුවේ දාන. Short presentation now. We are doing a short presentation because we are doing a short presentation. What you need to do is you need to jot down everything in small point form. Small point form. Okay. Mama, මීට වඩා හොඳ වීඩියෝ එකක් පෙන්නන්නම් මේක තියෙනවට වඩා ඔයගොල්ලෝ අහලා තියෙන කෙනෙක්ගේ වීඩියෝ එකක් අපරට මේව දැකලත් ඇති මම මේ වෙන්නන්න යන කෙනා. What you need to do is you need to divide your speech. If you get something, I mean a question which is very much difficult to answer. හරිද? ටිකක් අමාරු question එකක් පත්තු වුණොත් හදිස්සියේ හරි. හරිද? පත්තු වෙනවා අනිවාර්යෙන් ඒ වගේ වෙනවා. අමාරු question එකක් අපිට හම්බ වුණොත් what you need to do is you need to divide your short presentation into several segments. අපි එක කොටස් කීපයකට කඩා ගන්න. හරිද? ලේසිම වැඩේ තමයි ඔයාගේ මාතෘකාව. හරිද? ඔයාගේ මාතෘකාව කඩා ගන්න. මෙන්න මේ විදියට. A past incident related to the cue card, a present incident related to the cue card, a future incident related to the cue card. ඔන්න විදිහට කොටස් 3කට කඩා ගන්න. හරිද? topic එකෙන් පිටපනින්න එපා. මොකද if you go away from your topic you are done. Right? Without going away from the topic. I'm repeating it again and again. Because most of you guys understand this as going away from the topic. ගොඩක් අය තේරුම් ගන්නේ topic එකෙන් අයින් වෙන. හරිද? අයින් වෙලා යamak ලෙස. No, not. It's not. I'm asking you to be on the topic. Right? I'm asking you to be on the topic. But what I need is divide your topic into 3 segments. උදාහරණයක් විදිහට මම සරලම එකක් කියන්නම්. Talk about an electronic device which you are planning to buy. ගන්න හිතාගෙන ඉන්න electronic device. හරිද? එතකොට අනාගතේ විතරද ගන්න හිතාගෙන ඉන්න? ගන්න හිතාගෙන ඉන්නවා කියන්නේ ඉස්සරහට ගන්න හිතාගෙන ඉන්න ගන්න. අනාගතේ විතරද ඕක තියෙන්නේ? ගන්න හිතාගෙන ඉන්නේ අනාගතේ විතරද? නෑනේ. ඈත ඔයාලගේ අතීතෙත් ඔයාලා හිතාගෙන ඉන්න දෙනේ යම් electronic devices දැක්කම හරි මම මේක ගන්නවා කියලා. නේද? වර්තමානෙත් හිතාගෙන ඉන්නානේ. right? අනාගතෙත් ඔයාලට තියෙනවනේ. ඒතකොට ඔය කාල තුනේදී an electronic device which you are planning which you plan to buy in your past, an electronic device which you are planning to buy in the future, and an electronic device which you are planning to buy in near future. ඔන්න ඔය විදිහට කොටස් තුනකට කඩන්න. හරිද? Going like that will help you a great deal. ඔයා ඒ විදිහට යනවා නම්, right, it will help you. හරිද? ඔයාට ඒක ලොකු help එකක් වෙනවා. මොකද නැත්තම් ඔයා ප්‍රශ්න වලට මුහුණ දෙන්න. ඇයි? ඔයාට කතා කරගන්න දෙයක් නැති වුණොත් ඔයා හිර වෙනවා. හරිද? ඔයාට කතා කරන්න දෙයක් නැති වුණොත් ඔයා තනිකරම block වෙනවා. You are blocking yourself. If you block yourself, what you are supposed to do? You are blocking yourself. ඔයාගේ කතා කරන එක නිකම්ම block කරනවා. You are blocked. Right? Not blocking, you are not blocking, but you are blocked. ඔයා එතන block වෙලා. එතන block වෙලා තියෙද්දි ඔයා කොහොමද කතා කරන්නේ? ඔයා කොහොමද කතා කරන්නේ? You need to remember that. හරිද? You need to remember that. block වෙලා තියෙද්දි ඔයා කතා කරන විදිහ. එතන බලන්න කොහොමද block වුණොත් කතා කරන්නේ කියලා. කතා කරන්න point එකක් නැතුව ඔයා block කරනවා. ගගා තමයි ඉන්නේ. So my request is not to do that. ඒකයි මම ඔයාලට මේ ටෙක්නික් එක මෙන්න මෙයා මේ කියන ටෙක්නික් එක මම ප්‍රෙස්ක්‍රයිබ් කරන්නේ. මෙන්න මේ කියන ටෙක්නික් එක which will help you. හරිද? Which will help you a great deal.
Cool. Hello, everyone. My name is Jay, and I'm one of the expert IELTS teachers here at E2 Language. In this class, we're going to look at IELTS speaking, and we're going to do a full test simulation. In fact, for part 2, we're going to do 2 of them. I'm going to be the IELTS examiner. You're going to be the student. You're going to do the full thing. And I want you to do this because you might be thinking to yourself, IELTS speaking couldn't be that hard. Just have to chat to the examiner. Just have to chat for 2 minutes. Well, you'll be surprised. On test day, it's a whole different story, especially if you suffer from anxiety or nervousness. Because all of a sudden, when that examiner hands you the task card and says you have to speak about this topic for 2 minutes, well, it's something that we don't do very often. So I'm going to give you a strategy for how to do part 2 effectively. And we're also going to look at the other parts as well. So just while we're on that, let's do a quick overview of IELTS speaking. IELTS say it's called the interview, long turn and discussion, which goes for 14 minutes in total. But I believe that there's a better way to describe this, which is small talk, tell 3 stories, and discuss big ideas. These are the 3 things that you need to do, okay? So let's talk first about meeting the examiner, because that will happen. The examiner will sit you down and say, what's your full name? And can I please see your ID? They are the 2 preliminary questions when you start. So please have your passport with you. Then the examiner will move into part 1, which is small talk. Small talk, look, it's really quite straightforward. It's just to sort of, it is graded, this section, and each part becomes more difficult. This one's really quite straightforward. There's a little bit of a secret here though. And that's simply to elaborate or extend your answers. So when the examiner asks you, where are you from? Don't just say Sri Lanka or France. Say something like, I'm from a small town in the north of France in the mountains, which is on the border with Switzerland. Something like that. Just elaborate on your answers a little bit. Show off. This is about showing off your language skills. It's not about being shy. You're going to have to push through your shyness and show off what you can actually do. And when the examiner says, do you study or work? Don't just say, I work. Say, I work for a cool company called E2 Language, which is located in Melbourne, Australia. However, it's global in its reach. And what we do is prepare people for English language exams. Elaborate on your answers a little bit. Cool? Then something strange will happen, and the examiner will ask you a question that seems very off topic, such as, do you like flowers? And you're going to think to yourself, whoa, the examiner's gone crazy. But this is what the IELTS people do. They ask you where you're from and what you do, and then do you like going to the cinema? And you think, what? So just be prepared for that change of topic. And again, just give a more elaborate answer. Do you like flowers? Well, I would say, yes, I like flowers. In fact, I'm a big fan of gardening. I think flowers are particularly pretty. I'm not very good at giving them to my girlfriend, however. Something like that. Fine. Then you move on to the difficult part, which is part 2. And what I want you to do is to tell 3 stories, and we're going to look at a strategy called IPPF. So what's going to happen is the examiner will hand you a task card, a piece of paper, a topic. You will have 1 minute to prepare to speak and then 2 minutes to talk about that topic. Now, this is a weird thing to do, and it's not something that we use in conversation. It is extremely rare for one person to talk for 2 minutes about a single topic, unless you're telling a story, which is what I'm going to teach you how to do here. But you definitely need to prepare for this, because when I did my IELTS and I did this and I did get a 9 for speaking, I must say 2 minutes is a very long time for one person to sit and speak for. It feels like an eternity, okay? So you need to prepare. So imagine that the examiner hands you this task card and it says, talk about an email that you received which you liked. You should say who sent it, when you received it, what the content was, and explain why you liked it. If you're feeling adventurous, you can pause the video here and just try to do this. Time yourself for 2 minutes if you're on YouTube. But I can guarantee you're going to find this extremely difficult. Okay, so we need a strategy. We need a strategy. Just before I get to that strategy, I'm just going to check that everything's okay. Everything's happening. Cool. All right. Good, good, good. Back to the strategy. Here we go. Back to the strategy. IPPF. This is the strategy. The I didn't put this in, stands for introduction, but then past, present, future. So introduction, past, present, future. This is how we're going to battle. This is how we're going to do this effectively. Okay, so we look at our task card here about talking about an email, and we're going to tell 3 stories: a past story, a present story, and a future story. And I'll tell you why in a second. It says talk about an email you received. Okay, so Jay from E2 Language must be wrong, because it's saying talk about one email that you received in the past. Are you allowed to talk off topic? The answer is yes. I'm going to talk you through what the IELTS examiners are listening for and how they grade you. Okay, there are 4 things they grade you on, or kind of 5. This one here is called fluency, which is how smoothly you speak. The other one here is coherence, which is how well you connect your paragraphs together, how well structured your speech is. This one, lexical resource, means vocabulary. Then you've got grammar, and you've got pronunciation. There is nothing here about topic, okay? And in fact, what I did is I emailed an IELTS examiner, and I said to this guy, I said, hey, I've got a great strategy for IELTS speaking which maximizes IELTS test scores. Is this okay? And he emailed back and he said to me, yes, this is fine. Your strategy is really good, because the speaking questions are not like the writing, and being a little tangential or speaking off topic is fine. If you're on YouTube, you can pause this and read the rest of it if you want. But basically, this is evidence from an IELTS examiner that this strategy I'm about to teach you not only works, but is legal. It's possible. You're allowed to do it. It's intelligent. It's smart. So let's have a look at it. So you get 1 minute preparation time, and this is extremely important before you start talking for the 2 minutes. and you want to do this. In the past, recently, in the future. These are your 3 time markers for your 3 stories. Then on the piece of paper, you'll say, well, for me anyway, I'm talking about the email, some keywords. So this is what I write down in the 1 minute. In the past, South Korea. Recently, E2 students. Future, in the future, Robert Sapolsky. That's all I write down on my piece of paper in the 1 minute preparation time. In the past, recently, in the future, and then the 3 keywords that will remind me of my 3 stories. I'm going to tell a past story about South Korea, an email I received about South Korea. My present story will be about E2 language students, and my 3rd story is going to be about an email from a guy called Robert Sapolsky. That's all I need to do. Write that down. I take a deep breath and I relax and I wait for the IELTS examiner to say, okay, you can begin. Fine. And I'm going to use an introductory sentence. This is the I. So I'll say, today I would like to talk about 3 different emails. And immediately the IELTS examiner is thinking, ooh, this person's interesting. They've obviously done their homework. They've got a structure and a strategy. And I say to the IELTS examiner this. In the past, I received an email from the boss of a South Korean university. I received the email because I had applied for a job there. And when the email appeared in my inbox, I knew that I either had the job or I didn't. So it was very exciting. Needless to say that the email was good news, saying that I had been accepted to teach at the university. This was about 6 or 7 years ago now, but I can still remember it very clearly in my mind because I had just finished my teaching degree and I was desperate for a job and to travel overseas. So, what have I done here? I've told a past story and I've triggered my mind to use past tense verbs and told a past tense story by using this phrase here, in the past. And why is this good? Because look at my verb tenses. Received, had applied, past perfect, appeared, knew, had, didn't, was, had been accepted. I've used a range of past tense verbs. Simple past, what else is in there? Past perfect, I've used some negatives, some passives, and I've told a past story. And
right. මෙතන මේ තියෙන්නේ මම ඔය කියපුවා IPPF කියන ටෙක්නික් එකේ මූලික හැඳින්වීමක් ඔය තියෙන්නේ. කතා කරන්න බැරිම තනක් වුණොත් මේක තමයි අපි කරන්නේ. IPPF කියන ටෙක්නික් එක through වැඩේ කරන්නේ. හරිද? මේක හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න. ඔයාලා මතක තියාගන්න. ඔයාලා ඉස්සෙල්ලා කරන්න ඕන දැන් ඔයාලා දන්නෝ මේක off topic යන්න පුළුවන්. හරිද? ඔයාලා දන්නෝ off topic යන්න පුළුවන් තැනක තියෙනවා. Right? Off topic යනවා කියන්නේ not complete off topic but gently off the topic. හරිද? Gently off the topic. Gently off the topic. Gently මම කියන්නේ 100 කියලා. Gently you can go off from the topic. All right? Gently. ඊට පස්සේ ඔයා මතක තියාගන්න ඕන මෙතෙන්දී what you need to do is you need to have a clear cut idea that you can use only past tenses, right? Past tenses. Simple past, past continuous, past perfect continuous. In your speaking, when you are speaking about the past incident. Likewise, in present, you need to use present tenses, and in future, if you are using future, you need to use future tenses. Right? You need to use future tenses. හරිද? ඔය විදිහට තමයි යන්නේ. That is the best way you need to follow. That is the best way. So, මේ දේ කරගත්තට පස්සේ what you need to remember is you need to follow up a certain procedure. All right? You need to follow up certain procedure. The first one is taking notes. note එකක් වා ගන්න ටට්ටක් ගාලා ඔය විදියට මම දැන් මේ පෙන්නන විදියට හරිද මේ තියෙන විදියට ඔයා කියන්න යන දේවල් පිළිබඳව පොඩි නෝට් එකක් ඔන්න විදියට දාන්න. Then you need to have a good starter. හරිද good starter. හොඳ විදියක් තියෙන්න ඕන ඔයා පටන් ගන්න. හරිද? You need to have a good starter. ඔයාගේ starter එක good වෙන්න ඕන. හොඳ වෙන්න ඕන. හරිද? Starter එක your starter should be the best starter you are going to use. හරිද? ඔයා පාවිච්චි කරන්න. Starter එක. Your starter should be the best starter which you are going to use in your speech. Your starter should be the best starter which you are going to use in your speech. IELTS, right? Your tungani පාටක් කියන්න your starter should be the best starter which you are going to use in your speech. ඔයාගේ speech එකේ පාවිච්චි කරන best starter එක වෙන්න ඕනේ. හරිද? ඒක best starter එකක් වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඔයාගේ speech එකට පාවිච්චි කරන එක best starter එකක් වෙන්න. හරිද? ඊට පස්සේ තියෙන්නේ you need to tell a story. Storytelling. හරිද? Imagination. හරිද? Imagination. Third part එකේ ඔයාලට හම්බ වෙන imaginary questions කියලා type කරලා. You are giving a certain situation where you need to talk. Same as that, what you need to do is think and talk. Sometimes you might not have any experiences on this given topic, but what you need to do is put yourself into that situation and think and talk. All right, think and talk. Think and talk. Think and tell. I'm sorry. Think and tell. Think and tell the story. Think and tell the story. Because it's a storytelling case. Or story that can think and tell. Put yourself into the situation which is given by the topic. Think, tell. Think, tell. එච්චරයි කරන්නේ. හරිද? ඕකේ ඊළඟ පාර්ට් එක තමයි note taking කියලා කියන්නේ. note taking කියන concept එක හරියටම මතක තියාගන්න මෙන්න මේ විදිහට එක වචනකින් ලියාගන්න. හරිද? එක වචනයක් හෝ වචන දෙක. In the past, South Korea from a boss telling me that I have selected for a job. ඔච්චරයි. Recently, from IELTS students telling me that they have passed their exams. And the future, Robert Spolsky replying me as because I'm a big fan of him. Okay. ඔන්න ඔය විදිහට ඔයාගේ ස්පීච් එක හදාගන්න. හරිද? ඔයාගේ ස්පීච් එක තියෙන්න ඕන ඔය සිස්ටම්. කතා කරන්න බැරි මේ කියලා හිතන ඒවට ගහන්න ඕන ඔය. කතා කරන්න පුළුවන් කියන එකක් දැනුණොත් හරිද? කතා කරන්න පුළුවන් කියන එකක් දැනුණා. If you know them. පිරිමි ළමයි ගැන කතා කරොත් you know very well about these electronic devices. You know very well about the electronic devices. Right? You know very well about the electronic devices. So what you need to do is you need to think about it and think about the electronic devices and just be on the same topic if you are familiar with it. But if you are not familiar with the given topic, what you need to do is just go through this procedure, which will help you to cover up your 2 minutes. ඔයාලා දන්නව විනාඩි දෙකක් ඔයාලා අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම මේක cover up කරගන්න ඕන. විනාඩි දෙකක් cover up කරනවා කියන ලොකු වැඩක් අපිට. විනාඩි දෙකක් cover up කරනවා නම් හරිද? We need a better strategy. හරිද? පුළුවන් එක අහුනොත් පුළුවන් එකේ ටාගට් එකයි බැරි එකක් අහුනොත් බැරි එකට ටාගට් එකයි අනිත් දෙකක් තියෙනවා. ඔන්න බැරි එකකටත් මම ටාගට් එකක් දුන්නා. හරිද? ඕම් බැරි එකකට මම ටාගට් එකක් දුන්නා. බැරි මාතෘකාවක් කතා කරන්නත් මම ටාගට් එකක් දීලා තියෙනවා. විද්‍යාව ස්ට්‍රැටජි එකක් දීලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ඔය ස්ට්‍රැටජි එකේ යන්න. හරිද? ඔය ස්ට්‍රැටජි එක තමයි the best strategy which you can use for your IELTS speaking test. මම ඊට පස්සේ පෙන්නන්නම්. දැන් මම ඔයාලට කිව්වේ මේක දැකපුවාත් ඉන්නවා. Note taking. මොකද you need to have a good idea about what is note taking. or note taking කියන concept එක. මොකද ඒකත් ඔයාලා දැනගෙන ඉන්න. ඒක දැනගෙන ඉන්න ඕන කියන්නේ හේතුව හරියට note taking එක වැඩේ වෙන්න ඕන විදිය මම කියන්නම්. note taking එකක් ගැන කතා කරනකොට note එකක් ගැන අපි දෙන්න ඕනම තැනකදී basically අර විදිහට එක වචනෙන් දෙකෙන් දෙන්න ඕන. හැබැයි ඒ වචන keywords විදිහට යන්න ඕන. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයා කියන්න යන්නේ මොකද්ද? අන්න ඒකේ full story එක. ඔයාට මතක් වෙන්න. හරිද? full story එක එකපාරට මතක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් විදිහට තමයි ඒක තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට keyword selection පිළිබඳව සෑහෙන පරිස්සමෙන් වැඩේ. keyword selection. හරිද? Because if you are not going to select the proper keyword. හරිද? ඔයා හරි keyword එක select කරගෙන නැතුව කරොත් මතක් වෙන්නේ නැති ලේසි එකක්. හරිද? මතක් වෙන ලේසි එකක් හරියට select නොකර කරොත් මතක් වෙන්නේ නැති ලේසි අමාරු එකක් select නොකර කරොත් ඔයාලා ලොකු අමාරුවකට වැටෙනවා. හරිද? What you need to do is select a keyword which is pretty much easy to remember. Which is pretty much easy to remember. ටක් ගාලා මතක් වෙන එක. හරිද? ටක් ගාලා මතක් වෙන එකක් ලියන්න. පැහැදිලිද? ටක් ගාලා මතක් වෙන ඒවා ලියන්න. ඒක ඔයාට ලොකු උදව්වක් වේවි. ඔක මතක් තියාගෙන ලියන්න. ඔයා කතා කරන්න ඕන දේ කියන්න. හරිද? That's what we known as note taking. ඒක තමයි අපි note taking කියලා කියන්නේ. හරිද? note taking කියන මතක තියාගන්න note taking concept එක. Okay. මම ඊට පස්සේ යන්නේ third part එක. Follow up questions which are based on your previous cue card. On the video.
Okay, now that you have just finished practicing for part number 2, we're going to move into our explanation of speaking part number 3 and highlight some of the tactics and strategies that are necessary to do well. So, in general, in terms of part number 3 as an overview, the timing, it will take about 3 to 5 minutes to complete this section of the test, so you got to be ready. The purpose, the examiner is really looking for you to reveal the depth of your thoughts. They want to know how well you can really use the English language with these complex, thought-provoking questions that they're going to ask you. Finally, you will only have about 3 to 4 discussion questions, and then the test is over. The examiner is going to review their notes from your performance on all 3 parts. Now, here is some more general information about part number 3. It happens directly after part number 2. Also, is going to be on the same subject as part number 2. If part number 2 was about foreign languages, then part 3 would be about languages. Also, the question types are different than part number 1. In part number 1, the questions were very direct. In part number 3, the questions are much more complex. They really ask you to really speak in abstract terms very often. If you really want to score well on part number 3, show that you can handle talking about abstract concepts and using abstract vocabulary. That's going to really, really impress the examiner. Now, the 3 main question types that you're going to have for part number 3 will deal with an opinion question. Should parents be required to take classes before having children? An imagination question. What do you think child rearing will be like 50 years from now? Or even a compare and contrast question. How do parents today compare with parents in the past? All right, in part number 3, here are some tips and advice that can be very helpful to you. Now, as opposed to part number 1, in part number 3, you can clarify. You can ask the grader, can you say that question again, or can you clarify what you mean by that? Also, this has applied to all 3 parts. Please use topic-specific vocabulary. That's very, very important. Recognize when there are tense changes. Sometimes in part 3, they'll ask you a question about the past, and you have to use the past tense. And then in the very next question, they'll ask you about the future. Make sure you pay attention and keep really good eye contact, because this is a discussion, which means that the examiner can jump in and ask you a question. So you have to look at their body language and know when they want to ask you a question. So you need to wrap up your answer. Also, to do well on part number 3, constantly explain why. Every answer deserves a why, and that follow-up explanation deserves a why. You explain why. You give examples. You give alternatives to what your answer would be, to really explain and extend your answers out. So here you're going to see.
Right. මෙයා මෙතන කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? මෙයා මෙතන කියන්නේ මොන දේ කරන්නත් මෙයා මෙතන එක දෙයක් කියනවා. මෙන්න මේක තමයි main concept එක. You need to identify the type of the question which they are posing you. Right? You need to identify the type of the question which they are posing you. ඔයාට pose කරන question type එක අනිවාර්යෙන් අඳුරගන්න. Opinion එක. Because if they are asking you an opinion and if you give an answer like, I mean, imaginary answer, right? It won't work for you. ඒක ඔයාලා වැඩ කරන්න ගන්න නැහැ. හරිද? ඒ නිසා තමයි ඔයා ඉස්සෙල්ලා මේ question type එක අඳුරගන්න. You need to identify the question type and then imagine about your try to figure out your answer. The first one is imagine opinion question. The second one is imagine question, where you'll be getting a situation. You need to think, go to the situation and give your answers. And the third one is compare contrast. Compare contrast sentences, right? Compare contrast sentence cases, where you need to compare situations with several other situations which are related to the questions, which are related to your question. Okay, question eකට relate වෙන හරිද? several cases අරගෙන ඒවා එකින් එකට comparison කරනවා. comparison එක කිව්වත් සංසන්දනය කිරීමක් කිව්වත් දෙකම එකයි. අපි ඒ විදිහට හරිද? ඔන්න ඕක. ඔය එක ඔන්න ඕක තමයි type part 3 එකේදී අපි කළ යුත්තේ. හරිද? part 3 එක පිළිබඳව ඊට පස්සේ එන්නේ what you need to know about part 3 is that you cannot, like part 1, you cannot do clarifications at the very beginning. හරිද? මේකේදී ඔයාට පටන් ගන්නදීම ඔයාට බෑ clarification කරන්න. ප්‍රශ්නෙන් ප්‍රශ්න clarify කරගෙන යන්න ඔයාට බෑ. You cannot do any kind of clarifications. හරිද? You cannot do any kind of clarifications. The second one is affirmative, negative, alternative. You need to give affirmative sentences, negative sentences, as well as affirmative, alternative for what you say. All right. Then topic specific vocabulary. Topic specific vocabulary. Try to use specific vocabulary for the topic. Okay. Specific vocabulary without mixing. All right, without mixing. And recognize the tense change. Recognize the tense change. You need to identify the places where they are going to change the tenses. where you need to change the tenses or tenses change करने को वाट अलग करना कोहें दी तो change होने कोने में दी तो change होने right एक वाला के वक्त की मुकदर සමහර ලාලට past cases අහනවා කෙලින්ම past cases අහනවා ඒ වගේ past case එකක් වගේ අහුවොත් ඔයා උත්තර දෙන්න ඔයාගේ ඔළුවේ තියෙනවා හරි ඔයා tense එක අඳුර ගන්නවා past perfect කියන්නේ මොකද්ද present perfect කියන්නේ මොකද්ද කියන වෙනස ඔයාගේ ඔළුවේ තියෙන්න ඕනේ ඒ වෙනස ඔළුවේ නැත්තම් එතන ප්‍රශ්නයක් right ඒ වෙනස if you don't have that difference in your mind that would be a problem for you so recognizing the tense is a must recognizing tense is a must next one is constantly explain why try to give reasons right try to give reasons as much as you can reasons දෙන්න try කරන්න පුදුම හැම විදියටම හැම තැනදීම reasons දෙන්න try කරන්න. අයි මම reasons දෙන්න try කරන්න කියන්නේ. In simple you are expanding your answer. ඔයාගේ answer එක expand කරන්න. හරිද? ඔයාගේ answer එක ඔයා expand කරන්න. If you give reasons right and what you need to do is you need to keep your eye on the body language of your examiner to identify the instances where they are going to pose your next question or ඊළඟ question එක දෙන තව පොඩ්ඩක් අහගෙන බලන්න ඉන්න. හරිද? සමහර examiners ලා ඉන්නවා එකක් යන අතරමැද්දෙන් එකක් දානවා. එහෙම කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා. Right? What you need to understand is the place where he is getting ready to shoot another question to you. ඔයාට තව question එකක් shoot කරන්න යන තැන ඔයා බලාගෙන ඉන්න. It's a that's the mandatory fact. ඒක තමයි ප්‍රධානම fact එක. එහෙම නැතිනොත් ඔයා අපහසුතාවයටපත් වෙනවා. හරිද? එහෙම නැතිනොත් ඔයා අපහසුතාවයටපත් වෙනවා. ඇයි you are not expecting. හරිද? You are not expecting. හරි? ඔයා බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ නැහැ. You are not expecting. එක පාට තවත් උත්තරයක් ප්‍රශ්නයක් අහන එක. ඔයා වාක්‍යයක් කියාගෙන යන මැද්දේ වාක්‍ය අන්තිමට එන්න කලින් ඔයාගේ එක්සැමිනර් එක පාට ෂූට් කරන එකක් ක්වෙස්චන් එක ෂූට් කරන එක ඔයා බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක පිළිබඳව අවධානය යොමු. මොකද එහෙම කරොත් ගොඩක් අය ඔය ටෙක්නික් එක දැන් පාවිච්චි කරනවා. ඒ ටෙක්නික් එකෙන් අල්ල ගන්නවා කෙලින්ම ඔයාට වචන නැද්ද vocabulary නැද්ද? Whether you have a good vocabulary or not. එක පාට ෂූට් කරාම ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඕනම මාතෘකාවකදී හරිද? ඔයාට words නැතිවොත් ඔයා හිර වෙනවා. ඒකම ඇති යාලට වැඩේ කරන්න. ඒක ඇති යාලට වැඩේ කරන්න. හරිද? That's enough for them to decide your future. So don't let them to do that. Okay? Don't let them to do that. What you need to do is you need to look for the places which they are going to change their cases. ඔයා ඒක පිළිබඳව අවධානය යොමු. හරිද? ඒ දේ කරගත්තොත් ඔයාලට මේ ගමන යන්න පුළුවන්. හරිද? ඔයාලට මේ ගමන කිසිම බයක් නැතුව යන්න පුළුවන් ඔයාලා ඒ දේ කරනවා. ඔන්න ඔය concepts ටික ඔළුවේ තියාගන්න. හරිද? ඔන්න ඔය concepts ටික ඔළුවේ තියාගන්න. මම හෙට ක්ලාස් එකේ කරන්නේ මේ concepts අපි පාවිච්චි කරනවා. හරිද? අපි මේ concepts එකින් එක පාවිච්චි කරනවා. Right? අපි මේ concepts එකින් එක දානවා practical. මම මෙච්චරලා මේ කිව්වේ theory විතරයි. Right? This is the theory. This is the theory. But you need to have, all right, you need to have a good understanding about how to use the theory. theory පාවිච්චි කරන එක හරියට පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? හරිද? හරියට මේ theory එක අරගෙන whether you have it complete in your mind or not. හරිද? මේක ඔයාගේ ඔළුවේ හරියට තියනවද නැද්ද කියන එක අපි හෙට බලමු. මොකද මේකෙන් ඔයාලට අල්ලගන්න පුළුවන් වේවි. මේක හරියට මම මොන දේ කිව්වද? හරිද? ඇත්ත කතාව මම මොන දේ කිව්වත් මම මොන කතාවක් ඔයාලට කිව්වොත් මම මොන විදියට මේ දේ කිව්වත් ඔයාලා මේක ප්‍රැක්ටිකල් යූස් කරන්නේ නැත්නම් මේක ඔයාලගේ ඔළුව වලට යන්නේ නැහැ. හරි. ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන්ම ඔළුවේ තියාගන්න ඕන දේ තමයි variety of sentences. හරිද? You need to identify the varieties of sentences. මම කිව්ව variety ටික තියෙනවා complex and simple sentences, complex sentences, compound sentences, compound complex sentences. ඔය සේරම ටික මාරුවෙන් මාරුවට වගේ ආන්සර් එකක් ඇතුළේ රන් වෙන්න. හරි? ඒක රන් උනේ නැත්තම් එතරම් ඔයාගේ ෆේල්. ඊළඟ කතාව what you need to understand is you need to have a sound vocabulary. ඔයාගේ vocabulary sound වෙන්න. the perfect vocabulary එකක් වෙන්න. හරි? If it's a perfect vocabulary, you can do this. And the variety of words variety එකක් තියෙනවා. Not the same kind of word. හරිද? හැම word එකම word එක නම් යන්න එපා. හරි? එකම word එක නම් යන්න එපා. මගේ වෙබ් පෝර්ටල් එකේ ඉන්න ආනන්ද නැති පහුගිය කාලේ මම ස්පීකින් වලට මේ ඔය විදිහට මම දාලා දුන්නා එක්සැම්පල්ස් විදිහට දාලා තිනවා රස්කා විජයසේකරගේ උත්තර වගේක් අන්න ඒ උත්තර යන සිස්ටම් එක බලන්න වෙබ් පෝර්ටල් එකේ මම ඒක අප්ලෝඩ් කරලා තියෙනවා හරි ඒක වෙබ් පෝර්ටල් එකේ අප්ලෝඩ් කරලා තියෙනවා අන්න මේක බලන්න right ඔයාලට අවශ්‍ය කරන දේවල් හරිද ඔයාලට අවශ්‍ය කරන දේවල් තියෙනවා නම් අපි හෙට බලමු මේ තියරි එක පාවිච්චි කරන්න ඔයාලට අවශ්‍ය දේවල් තියෙනවා මෙන්න මේ නම්බර වලට කෝල් කරන්න මම ඔයාලට ඒව දෙන්නම් WhatsApp message එකක් හරි මට දාන්න මම ඒවට reply කරන්න උපරිම උත්සාහයක් කරනවා ඔය එකක් පළවෙනි දෙක WhatsApp තියෙනවා දෙවෙනි එක තුන්වෙනි එක WhatsApp නැහැ මේන නම්බර්ස් දෙකෙන් ඕනම නම්බර එකකට මට කතා කරන්න ඕනම දෙයක් ඉල්ලන්න මම ඔයාලට උදව් කරන්නම් හරි මම ඔයාලව හෙට ආයි මේ වෙලාවට ගන්නවා වෙන මොකටවත් නෙමෙයි මේ තියරි එක හරියට ප්‍රැක්ටිකලි යූස් කරන්න මේ තියරි එක ප්‍රැක්ටිකලි යූස් කරන්න මෙහෙම තියරිය විතරක් කියලා වැඩක් නෑ මොකද තියරිය කීම අපි කාට වුණත් කරන්න පුළුවන් හරිද තියරියක් විතරක් පෙන්නන එක අපි කාට වුණත් කරන්න පුළුවන් but to have an experience will help you to be perfect theory විතරක් නැතුව experience එකකුත් දෙන එක ටිකක් perfect වෙයි right මම එහෙනම් හෙට ඔයාලව හම්බ වෙන්නම් අදට good night